Hi, welcome to Knitting Downsized. This is a podcast about knitting, family, and living in a camper as a family of four, two kiddos, a husband, and a dog. Thanks for stopping by today. So we have lots to talk about. I have a couple FOs, some whips, and lots of purchases. So let's get started. So first of all, this is my Navelli. I'm going to stand up so you guys can see it. This is my Navelli by Caitlin Hunter. It is made in Leadingman Fiber Arts, the King Max colorway, and the color work are the Plucky Knitter. They had some oops skeins, or I guess skeins that weren't long enough, and they had a really good deal, and so I purchased some, and it went really well with the sweater. So this is one of those sweaters that I absolutely love. I did do the thing that I usually do. It is supposed to be made in fingering, and I did it in sport weight. The Leadingman Fiber Art skeins, I think I want to say are like 600 yards. So it's tons of yardage, and because it's bottom up, I had plenty to do, maybe another inch or two to make it a little bit longer, but I'm always afraid of yarn chicken. So I stopped early, and I ended up making a hat for my son with the leftovers. So I had plenty to do more, but I just stopped early. So that's what I'm wearing. My first finished object is a hat. So I finally made a hat for my son. This hat is made out of Barocco Vintage, and it's kind of a hunter green color. I just did a 2x2 ribbing because I wanted it to be kind of tight to his head so it doesn't fall off. If it's kind of floppy and moves, then he tends to not wear it. He'll actually feel it move and jerk it off and, throw it off to the wayside. So this way it's a little bit tight and snug, and, he can double wrap for, around his ears and things. So super easy. I just did a size 7 on my Chiagus, and I believe I did 90 stitches. So easy peasy. Love it. That's all my finished objects. I said I had more, but I didn't. I thought, once again, that I was going to have more, but I underestimated myself, and I underestimated the week that this was going to be. It's been kind of a crazy week here, and my daughter's birthday is this weekend, so we're planning things with that, and I'm really sorry. I have the door open, so if you hear Maggie bark, which you probably will. We live on kind of a loop, so there's people that walk by and walk their dogs, and their kids get to play outside and stuff. So camper life, yeah. As you can see by the windows right there, that's another camper. So, and I'm looking at another one. So I think they're about 20 feet apart. So we are very close. When you live in a campground, you become BFFs with all your neighbors because you see them constantly, and they help you out with stuff. They help you drain your tanks. They help you with your dogs, and in my case, my kids, because they're always running off. But yeah, it's very tight knit when you live in a tiny home community, or even a campground like we do. So back to my knitting. I restarted my Ranunculus, and it's almost done. So there it is. I have a couple more rows of ribbing, and then I think I've decided to do long sleeves on it. Color is taupe. I follow directions, y'all. I am so proud of myself. When I would mess up, I would tink back and fix it. I'm super proud of myself. Usually I would just ignore it and not fix it, but since it's for a friend of mine, I wanted it to be as perfect as possible. So I did it to pattern, every single little bit of it, and it's kind of interesting how she writes the pattern. The Ranunculus is by Midori Hirose, I think, is how you say it. Great pattern, comes in all different sizes. For this one, I used Rowan Baby Cash Soft Merino. Hope you can see it. Sorry, it's a really gorgeous day and I've got the door open. And it is, let's see if I can find it real quick. 57% wool, 33% acrylic, and 10% cashmere. So the drape in this is amazing and it's so soft. I can already tell it's going to be a little bit pilly, but the person that I'm giving it to is familiar with taking care of wool and wool products. So yeah, I have 2 full 50 gram skeins left, so I am going to use those to make as long a sleeve as I can. So that way I don't have 2 random skeins of something that I might not probably ever purchase again, just because it's not readily available here to me. So on the kind of subject of Rowan, I had a comment on my last podcast about knitting with cotton or acrylic yarn, and I love to knit with cotton and acrylic. I used to have a crochet business actually where I did 11 craft shows here in Western North Carolina and did hats. I sold hats and scarves and baby toys and things like that for about 5 years. So almost all the yarn then that I used was acrylic and cotton. So nowadays I tend to mostly do, because I do a lot of color work, I tend to mostly do and use wool yarns just because they're stickier and they, to me, in my opinion, they look a little bit better with like a wool yarn. But then again, I haven't tried a cotton color work yet, so maybe I need to do that. On my Instagram page, which is Knitting Downsized. Check me out there. I post a couple pictures a week just of camper life and of my knitting. Last week I posted a picture of my daughter in the Little Ripple crop top by Jessie May. So I bought the adult pattern and the little pattern. It comes in tons of sizes in the little pattern. So this, I believe, is I made her the 2T or the 2 years, I think is how she does it. And I use cotton. I wanted her to use this. She actually wore it for Easter under her Easter overalls. My mom is an amazing seamstress and she made my daughter and I matching overalls for Easter, and this is what she wore under her overalls. So super cute. It's another bottom up pattern, and I actually have a skein and a half left, and I wish I would have made it longer. My daughter has a very long waist and a little bitty tum, so some extra fabric would have probably been great and been able to make her let her wear it probably into this year as well. So this is cotton, and it is made with Rowan hand knit cotton. And I really enjoyed it. I am so familiar with hearing podcasts talk about Rowan felted tweed that I wasn't familiar with any of their other yarn lines. And here in Western North Carolina, we have a yarn store called Friends and Fiber Works. It is ginormous, and they have tons of Rowan and lots of their different lines. So I was able to touch it and feel it and look at the different colors. That's really important to me. It's hard for me to purchase yarn that I can't touch. I tend to not do that. I tend to have to touch it to buy it. It's just how I am, I guess. But highly recommend it. It's a DK weight, or maybe even a worsted, but I have washed this a ton. She has gotten pizza all over it. It's her favorite food. Pizza all over it, spaghetti, all those type of foods, and it has washed so unbelievably well for use with a toddler. So it is a little bit stiff, like a cotton stiff, but I have washed and dried it. Actually, my husband has washed and dried it, so it's probably been high and hot on both of those. So highly recommend the yarn. I really like it, and the pattern is great too. It's a very good, like, when your life's busy and you just want to do 2x2 ribbing for days, it's a perfect pattern. And the adult worsted ripple crop top is also a really, really great fit. I am very large busted, and it fit me very well. I was really worried that it was going to be cleavage city, and it wasn't. I was really surprised, but it was a really, really good pattern. So I really liked it. Another Rowan, while I'm on the subject of Rowan, I wanted to showcase another Rowan that I recommend. This is Rowan Summerlight 4-ply. And it is their fingering weight yarn. This is, I love this color, if I can find it. It doesn't say the color name. But anyway, it's another good option. I am going to make another Jessie May pattern, the outline tee, out of this, probably for next year. I bought a sweater quantity to make this year and just never made it. So that's Maggie May's favorite spot. She can spy on all of our neighbors from the back of the couch. So, so there's that. I didn't know if you guys saw that Pearl Soho had a sale on their linen quill, and I have heard so many rave reviews about linen quill that I really wanted to try it. And I talked to my friend and her mom, the folks that own Swamp Bunny Fiber, Yarn and Fiber. I talked them into purchasing it with me as well. It was like 20% off, and we all bought a handful of skeins. So I have looked at Pearl Soho for quite a while. In the linen quill, they have such cool colors that you don't get in some yarn lines. So I love yellow. I think yellow is the happiest color that you can ever get. And so I purchased 3 skeins in their dandelion yellow. And it's kind of there. It is a very, very bright yellow, and I love it. I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but I bought 3 skeins. It's fingering weight and 439 yards. It's 50% Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. So, wrong way. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got these kind of little white blips in it. And I believe that's the linen that's in the yarn. It is so soft, and I think it's going to have some really great drape to it as well. I'm very impressed. Like I said, it's hard for me to buy yarn without being able to play with it and touch it, but I'm very, very impressed with this yarn. I want to buy more now. Clearly, it's an addiction. And then I also purchased 2 skeins of the red poppy. So it's this really pretty red-orange color, and I like it with the yellow, but I don't know. I'm weird about color and seasons. Like, what season would I wear that in? Because it's so bright, but then I kind of just want to wear what I want to wear, whenever I want to wear it. But who knows? I might just make maybe a simple tee with it, because I could do like a ranunculus with 2 skeins of this, because I'm just in a ranunculus mood, obviously. I've made 3 now. So that was my purchase. One other purchase that I made actually a couple weeks ago, that I saw on Instagram, House of Lamode. She posted these hats, and because my hair is in an in-between phase, I ruined it by bleaching it several times. I wanted to go charcoal and purple, and I have very dark hair, and so we bleached it, I think, 3 or 4 times to get it to the level that we needed to get it to, and my hair's just done for. So I've been wearing a lot of hats lately, and House of Lamode posted this one. So it's yarny, and it's kind of retro looking. It comes in a couple other colors, I think blue and yellow. So this is like a turquoise and golden, and it comes in blue and yellow, and I think purple and pink. So highly recommend. It's awesome. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. And the inside is actually, I don't know if you can see, it's like a nice terry cloth, so it's not that weird like hat material that kind of scratches your forehead. But I've been wearing it quite a bit, so highly recommend. And their website's super easy to order from. I've never ordered from than before, but super easy to order from. It looks like they have some great yarn too that I need to go back for. So one last whip that I have, and it is the gray-eyed mitts. I showed you guys a picture of the pattern last week. I believe it's a free pattern available on Ravelry. You can go back to last week's episode. I forgot. Oh, Rebecca Tsai is the designer of the pattern. And so they're these little owl mitts. And I got hooked on colorwork mittens because I did a pair of the Speedy Selbu, and they were super speedy compared to these. So I am using Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, and I think this is pine, and here, and I don't remember what this color is, but kind of a yellow green, and then this has some little blips of greeny yellow. That doesn't work either, sorry. So I started the pattern, really easy to read, and I'm working on it. So there's the little, I guess the little vines from the palm, and then this is the vine that, or the limb that the owl sits on. So once again, super disappointed with Clover and their needle tips. These are like not even an inch long. Like, they kind of hurt my hands. So I tend to not work on this project as much as I would like, because they are, hurting my hands some. So if you guys have any recommendations on 9-inch circulars, one of my knitting students is using the Chiagus, which I really like. The tips are a little bit longer, but she does have RA, so her hands tend to hurt her more. And I've seen where there's a brand out there that I've seen that has a little bit longer tip to it. If you guys have that name or are familiar with a 9-inch or even a 12-inch that has a tip that you can actually hold on to, if you'll message that for me or leave a comment, that would be great. I'd like to help her, because she started one mitt and it's really starting to hurt her hands. So I'd like her to have a pair of mittens, not just one. So yeah, shoot me a comment. Let me know if you guys know of any 9-inch circulars with a longer tip. So I think that's it for today. Let me just look at my notes. So kind of boring. Our life is kind of boring right now. We're getting ready for my daughter's 3rd birthday. She wants a puppy party, so we're gonna have that on Sunday and get to celebrate with her and our family. So I'm really excited about that. Probably not much knitting going on this weekend, but yeah, it's life in a camper. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope you enjoy your knitting this week. Thanks so much for stopping by. Bye.